everyone, welcome back to the DOU. It's the Duchess of Unicorn, and this is the YouTube channel. The week is almost over. So basically, I'd like to go over a few things in terms of articles that I found interesting online, and maybe you'll agree once you've watched this video in its entirety. Meghan, as you and I both know now, it's established, even though I said it and I predicted it last year, I predicted it early this year, that Meghan would run for presidency, that she had political aspirations. It's actually the first thing I said. She had political aspirations. And I just felt strongly just by watching her moves in the media. And so now it's coming to fruition. Of course, when you have a plan, there's certain actionable steps, and she is in that process. So if you're new to this channel, we discuss everything British royals as it pertains right now to Meghan Markle. I've also decided to look into some celebrity stuff and some alt news stuff. So there'll be a little bit of a mix, but I just haven't launched that part yet because I'm so enthralled in what is unfolding in our media. You know, it's an election year and it's never been so dirty. This is the United States, folks. I'm a person that lives in the United States, and I happen to also be biracial. That's neither, here or there, but I think throwing that in makes this kind of a little bit different in the terms of where I'm coming from. Now, of course, Meghan plays down her race. So a lot of the race stuff won't really come up that often unless a third party brings it up, like the media or a news outlet or an individual, because certainly Meghan Markle is not bringing up her race. She likes to downplay it, unless, of course, it serves a greater purpose to her end. All right, so Meghan Markle joins Michelle Obama for a new U.S. election project. Now, this is ramping up very quickly, folks. She has just had a book come out that she supposedly had nothing to do with, but you and I obviously know that this is untrue. Just some of us just have a gut feeling that it wasn't going to be true anyway. Bankrolled by some organization or some group, or she's just backed by people who want to push her forward into politics. Now, there is an avenue that I think she can go into, but I feel like that avenue could close a little bit, especially if the president of the United States, that's currently the president, President Trump, loses, which I even hesitate to say that because I feel like he won't lose. Because he's got quite a bit of numbers behind him, even though we see in our mainstream media, we see that a lot of Democratic stuff is being pushed, and it's almost like it's a club, and the club is ganging together, and they're really making it like there's some type of mafiosa, and I feel like that we're seeing that a lot more than I think I've ever seen it in the history that I've ever remembered. An election, a presidential election. So maybe I never paid attention that much. Maybe it was just a common thing. When you are a member of a country and elections come up, sometimes from a little child to a grown adult, it becomes just like a birthday. In the beginning, a birthday is really super important, and you're all into it, you can't wait, and it's a thing you want to celebrate. And then as you get to a certain age, it's like, oh yeah, it's another birthday. Just like maybe like it's another Christmas or it's another Easter, etc., etc., etc. You become conditioned to just moving through the motions, and the fact that it's just going to be, and it's not going to not be, so you're just going to kind of passively watch it and react or act when your time is up to do so. So in other words, if it's time for you to go down to the election, the vote line, then you do. If it's time to mail your ballot or whatever these people are. But I noticed that it's It's hardcore this year. And I think you feel it too. It's almost like a club pressing down on people to push them, to urge them. And the urgency's always been there, but it's almost like they know their lives depend on it. And it's always turned to the fact that President Trump, if we allow him to continue, he'll do such terrible things. And I'm thinking, what terrible things has he done? And I don't want to make this a political video, but I have yet to see all the massive, terrible things that he's done. And we already want to look at what he's done in terms of being the president. So Meghan Markle joins Michelle Obama for the new U.S. election project. Meghan Markle is set to team up with Michelle Obama's voter registration group to celebrate 100 years since women were given the right to vote in America. I'm a woman and I'm thinking, I mean, I was kind of born into having the right to vote. And so it's always been the way it's been. And so why are we going way back in the past to make a club of it? I'm not sure I get the point. Like someone's going to take the vote away from women now? Okay, maybe if we were a communist country, yes. Or maybe no. I don't know because I'm not. I'm in a free or supposedly free society. There's never truly a free anything because if you have a mortgage or you pay a rent or you have a credit card or you pay any bills, you know everything is on loan. Okay? You're borrowing whatever you're using and paying on that. So it's not really ever free. What's free? Okay. That's a subject for another video. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, has made an extraordinary move by being involved in the group, as even junior royals are expected to avoid accusations of political interference. Prince Harry and the Duchess stepped down as senior royals earlier this year, but the Duke of Sussex still remains in the line of succession. And I could go on about that, but I won't. But one of the main reasons the Sussexes chose to step down was so they could give themselves more freedom. That's an interesting thing. So they could give themselves more freedom because, you took a job on that's in the world stage, but you decided, I can't. I just can't. And I'm sorry, I gotta go. I'm sorry. No, I didn't sign on for all this. Although you were schooled and been following, in Meghan's behalf, she's been following the British royals her whole entire life from when she was a little girl. So it makes us think, I wonder if she's been conditioned to already have stepped into the royal family. However, it would be unthought of for a Black woman, even though she doesn't herself put out there that she's a Black woman, or she is biracial. She has said she's biracial, but she doesn't wear it on her sleeve. What she does is wear that she is wanting to be or associates herself as fully Caucasian. As such, my example of that would be Kamala Harris, the VP candidate. She is half Jamaican and her mother is Indian. So why then is she African American? There is no African American in Jamaican and Indian. And a few years back, she aligned herself as an American Indian woman. I'm confused. So now we see Meghan and Harry, but we never see Harry that much anymore. It's about more freedom. The group When We All Vote has called itself nonpartisan and aims to decrease the race and age gap in voter participation. I think that's a cover. I think that's a good cover to say that's what you're doing, but how nonpartisan are you when the person that founded this is the former First Lady, Michelle Obama? The organization hopes to get 300,000 eligible women voters in a couch party over a virtual call. The Duchess will participate in the call together with Mr. Obama's former White House senior advisor Valerie Jarrett, actress Yvette Nicole Brown and Glamour magazine's editor Samantha Barry. Now that's interesting because Glamour seems to have a lot of ties to Meghan. So that would have been an awesome choice to have Meghan slip in there. Kind of late because these things are usually already set earlier in the year, if not the year before. But what we see is that Meghan's been slipped in as a late person to this virtual whatever. And again, we're seeing Meghan in virtual things, and I'm thinking when we often see her, she's always seemingly looking like she's trying to morph herself into a very younger version of herself. Unfortunately, she's not a younger version of herself. And she is also doing her best to stay out of any media outlets. Again, we don't see any new photos of her. We see nothing except these very short video virtual things. So it makes me wonder. I know it's quarantine. It's a good way to kind of make quarantine a thing you can hide behind and just come out. You can throw your wig on, your extensions, have someone come and do your makeup, wear your best top, and sit in front of a camera and go live, and you can just be the best you for that moment. And it's real easy in quarantine to do that and use quarantine to do such a thing. And especially with her wanting to get into politics, she doesn't have to really be out here lifting a leg in front of people looking at her and questioning her live. And I just feel like the carpet is laid out for her to put her acting and exercise that in a special way is right now, knowing that it's quarantine. It's still quarantine in many places. And in fact, at this time in August, late August, they are still now trying to bring quarantine back. A lot of kids who have returned to colleges and the school years are being cut short, heading back home. So aligning itself well in Meghan's plan for any bid for future political interest in her, for her to be president. Now, I think, again, if Trump was to be reelected, which I think strongly he may actually win this, not by default, but because he has done so much. And unfortunately, he's had a hard game to play in, Michelle Obama. So how nonpartisan can it be? I don't know. I want to stop it there and just mention that all these people that were mentioned are what? What do they have in common? The First Lady of the United States, or the former First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama. Think, think, think. Beep. Well, it's simple. They're all Hollywood celebrities in some way, shape, or form. They're all entertainers, or they come from the entertaining industry. Wow. So the presidency is now, someone from the former presidency is now mixing, and her whole posse is from Hollywood. Okay. To me, that seems odd, but I guess that's to be like, we have distance from, say, Washington, D.C., so it doesn't look too Washington, D.C.-ish because it has to look nonpartisan. Okay, so tell me something. Why isn't this Michelle Obama, this When We All Vote organization, why isn't that comprised of people on the streets, the average Jane and Joe? Why? It's still all controlled by a certain sect of people that are already very wealthy, extremely wealthy. And this is like their hobby or their part-time arm of what they want to share with the world. But it's also seeming like a clique. Tom Hanks, as you know, Tom Hanks has been in the news and involved in a ton of whispers and things that are coming about. And his wife is also shown in that clip. And Meghan is kind of drawn into that because, don't forget, Meghan signed on with Harry Walker Agency, which Michelle Obama is a member of. And that's an agency that sends them out to, do events and engagements and speaking events. And so, they're making money on this. So by having Meghan be part of this, she's drawing a check. Make no mistake, whenever you see somebody and they're televised, often they're receiving some type of compensation, whether that be in whatever form. It's not for free. So this When We All Vote is today, Thursday, August 20th. It's due to start at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So you can just tune in. It's virtual. And if you're interested in what Meghan has to say or what she's wearing or what she looks like or what she's even talking about, and it's also not because people love her, but people want to know because people are wondering and trying to pick up her vibe that she's sending out. And what is the vibe that she's sending out? So I often like to try to tune into these things or, research these things because it's interesting to see what she's saying, not so much by what she's speaking, but how she behaves or how she comes across or how her persona is. All right. So I'm not going to be editing this particular video too much. So if I mispronounce something, please don't try to correct me because it's okay. I'm not going to be editing it, and I just want to share this with you. I will be back with a second part to this video to talk about When We All Vote and Meghan's part in it, and I will see you in that video. Let me know your comments below on all this that's happening. This is big because we're seeing Meghan start to put the bricks down on the road that she's taking to Oz. I will see you in the next part of this video, and hopefully we can discuss more about Meghan's part in When We All Vote, which is, again, Michelle Obama's organization, which she co-founded, which has a few other